J-Dub is back at it here to give everyone my very first fantasy football rankings video. As most of us have a fantasy football draft this weekend if we're into fantasy football. I've already done 3 of them and I got one more left on Sunday, September 6th. I decided, you know what? It's time to do some rankings videos. So tonight, I'm going to rank all the quarterbacks in regular standard PPR leagues, not a dynasty or a superflex, but just regular redraft leagues. And then tomorrow and by Sunday, I'm going to do running backs and wide receivers and maybe throw tight ends into there too. No, I'm not doing defenses and kickers. In my opinion, you should get rid of defenses and kickers if you're a league manager. They just annoy me. So, gonna rank all the quarterbacks in order. I have different tiers I have them on, and then what I'll do is I'll give you guys a tier, let you know my strategy, and then possible people that could move up to different tiers. So let's start off. We'll go from the best to the worst in this. So in tier 1, number 1, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2, surprisingly, I have Russell Wilson. Number 2. Number 3, I've got Kyler Murray. Number 4, I've got Lamar Jackson. And number 5, people are going to freak, I've got Cam Newton in a tier 1. I really like all those quarterbacks. The problem is their draft ranking is so high that it's really hard to get one of these tiered quarterbacks. It's just costing too much to jump out the gate and grab quarterbacks. But sometimes I do. My strategy is usually to get a tier 2 quarterback and a tier 3, or 2 tier 2s or 3 tier 3s. That's kind of my strategy. But I love Mahomes. I think Russell Wilson's going to have a great year. Kyler Murray hopefully will do good, especially with an elite wide receiver in DeAndre Hopkins. Lamar Jackson, I think he's going to regress a little bit, and that's simply because Lamar Jackson had a crazy good year last year, and I feel like that's an unbelievable season, and really, can he really top that? I don't think so. And then, of course, Cam Newton coming off of an injury, just being named the New England Patriots starting quarterback. I think he's going to have one hell of a season because he is the offense. You've got Julian Edelman still. You've got N'Keal Harry if he does anything. Who knows? You've got James White, Sony Michel, Lamar Miller, Rex Burkhardt, if they haven't been cut yet. You got a couple rookie tight ends. So I think these quarterbacks should all be good. The one I think will be that could drop down would be Kyler Murray because he's small and tiny. And I think Mahomes will be great as long as he stays healthy. I think Mahomes will put up consistent numbers every year. So that's my tier 1. It's really hard to draft one of those tier 1 guys, like I said, though, because they're so high ranked that I kind of try to stay away from them most of the time. But if there's a guy I want and they get picked, sometimes I just look at a quarterback like, okay, I'll pick the best quarterback available sometimes. So here's my tier 2. I've got Dak Prescott 6, Carson Wentz 7, Deshaun Watson 8, Drew Lock 9, and Joe Burrow 10. Very interesting tier 2 quarterbacks here. I think Dak Prescott is a tad overrated. I haven't seen Dak Prescott really do anything special. I think it's the talent that's been around him, but everybody else seems to like him. Carson Wentz, if Carson Wentz can stay healthy, he's pretty consistent, although he throws the ball a lot more. Deshaun Watson annoys the crap out of me because I usually pick Deshaun Watson, and the guy will have like no points, because he keeps getting sacked. So if Deshaun Watson wouldn't get sacked 7 to 10 times a game, his numbers would be a lot better. And I refuse to put him in the tier 1, which a lot of people would, because his weapons aren't that impressive. You know, you lost DeAndre Hopkins. You've got Brandon Cooks, Randall Cobb, and Will Fuller, if we, the 3 or 4 games that Will Fuller will play. And you got the 3-headed monster at tight end. You do have David Johnson at running back, but he doesn't pass the ball to his running backs. So I'm a little worried about Deshaun Watson. And then Drew Lock, I think Drew Lock has a lot of weapons around him for this early in his career, and he can only get better, I think. And then, of course, Joe Burrow, who I'm giving the keys to the castle to Joe Burrow already. This tier, I would try to probably draft one of these quarterbacks if I can, just because I like to have a tier 2 guy and a tier 3 guy, like I'd mentioned. This particular list, I might go after Drew Lock. Dak is nice, but again, I think he's a little bit overrated. That's why I put him in tier 2. A lot of people have him in tier 1, like Deshaun Watson. But Drew Lock has all those weapons around him. He's got Cortland Sutton. He's got Jerry Jeudy. He's got KJ Hamler, if he's healthy, which I think he might miss the first 8 games of the season. You've got the 2 tight ends or 3 tight ends You've got Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay, Royce Freeman. Well, Melvin Gordon is the main highlight because he throws the ball, he catches the ball. And I just think that he has a lot of good weapons around him to be successful at this young age. And then Joe Burrow, he's got good film on him. He's got good stuff when you see him on film. And I think the Bengals actually have more weapons than you think. And they could be a surprise team this year. And I think Burrow will be in the top 10. I know it's a crazy statement, but I'm just really excited about Joe Burrow. And he's a guy that I might target. Now, guys that could drop off on this list, Deshaun Watson, because he gets sacked so much and he tends to fumble the ball a few times here and there too. And of course, Locke and Burrow, because I've got them ranked really high compared to a lot of lists. A lot of people have Locke in the bottom like 20s or the mid to bottom 20s. And then Burrow, I think a lot of people have him in the mid, like 15 to 18 range. So we'll see what happens. Tier 3. I've got a lot of people in Tier 3, and I usually like to try to get one of these guys for sure, or possibly 2 or 3. We've got Tom Brady at 11, Matt Ryan at 12, Josh Allen at 13, Drew Brees at 14, Big Ben Roethlisberger at 15, Aaron Rodgers at 16, Matt Stafford at 17, Daniel Jones at 18, Ryan Tannehill at 19, Gardner Minshew at 20, 21 David Carr, and 22 Jared Goff. All these quarterbacks are good, but they don't tend to really they don't fill the stat sheet up both ways. Josh Allen, he runs the ball a lot, but he doesn't necessarily throw a lot of touchdowns. All these other guys, they throw touchdowns but don't run the ball a lot. I think right now I would be looking at the steal would be Matthew Stafford, actually. I like Stafford because he throws the ball and they throw the ball. However, the running game could be really good with DeAndre Swift and Kerryon Johnson, but I think Stafford will go up, and Aaron Rodgers, that's a surprise. A lot of people would put Aaron Rodgers higher. I don't like the weapons around him. I just think, you got Devontae Adams and a bunch of, question marks at wide receiver, and Lazard, MVS, St. Brown. I just don't like the receivers around him. I mean, he's got Aaron Jones, but he's an elite runner. Well, not necessarily elite, but he's close to elite. So if those receivers step up big this year, then Aaron Rodgers could be way up, leading Tier 2 possibly. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is an elite quarterback anymore. He's not a Tier 1 in my opinion. And I think he's been overrated a lot. I'm a guy from Wisconsin, so I should love Aaron Rodgers. I'm a Favre fan, though. But Rodgers, to me, I think he's a solid Tier 3. Brady should be doing good. Matt Ryan should do good. Josh Allen, I like Josh Allen. A lot of people don't like Josh Allen. I think Ben Roethlisberger is going to have a hell of a year as long as everybody stays healthy on the Steelers, which is a lot to ask for James Conner. I think he'll be pretty steady, and I could see Big Ben possibly being in Tier 2. Obviously, he's going to throw the ball and not run the ball, but he can throw the ball far and long and a lot of times, so who knows. And then a guy who to really keep your eye on is David Carr. He's a really solid quarterback. He's got lots of weapons on the Raiders, and they could do really good things. Goff, in my opinion, could slip a little bit depending on how the Rams' offense works. Minshew, he's going to throw the ball a lot, especially now that they cut Leonard Fournette. He's going to throw the ball even more. So Laviska Shenault and DJ Chark are going to get lots of receptions and lots of targets, in my opinion. So those guys, keep an eye on them. Daniel Jones actually should probably be higher ranked, but I don't really like the weapons in New York. I don't think he has a lot of weapons at all. They don't really have an elite wide receiver. They've got Saquon, but that's about it. The receivers are meh. So that's my Tier 3. My Tier 4, it goes a little something like this. Baker Mayfield at 23. Kirk Cousins at 24. Sam Darnold at 25. And Phillip Rivers at 26. I hate Phillip Rivers, just to let you guys know. Darnold could be good, especially with Chris Herndon if he comes back, which now apparently he's hurt again, so I don't know. If he could have a solid tight end to throw the ball to, he could be a lot better. Cousins, I think, will be good, but Minnesota's missing Stephon Diggs now, and I don't think Justin Jefferson will be that much of a focal point in the offense in his rookie season. Baker Mayfield, well, I don't know about Cleveland. I'm very skeptical of the Browns right now. I mean, they've got good running backs in Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They've got Odell Beckham. They've got Jarvis Landry, but Jarvis Landry has that hip issue. And then they got Austin Hooper in the offseason as a tight end who did really good last year for the Falcons. So remains to be seen, but I don't really see anybody really jumping out of that tier 4 probably. If I had to say one, it would probably be Sam Darnold. If all the weapons that he does have, and they're very minor weapons, if they all step up, and Chris Herndon is an elite or a very promising tight end, then that could change some things. And then here's my by process of elimination, my tier 5s: 27 Jimmy Garoppolo, 28 Ryan Fitzpatrick, 29 Teddy Bridgewater, 30 would be Tyrod Taylor, 31 would be Dwayne Haskins, and 32 the most recently named starter of the Chicago Bears, Mitchell Trubisky. I think it wouldn't be bad to have a guy like Bridgewater because I think he can do better than what these numbers say. As far as the rest of them, I could see a breakout year for maybe Haskins to move up to a tier 4. I mean, they're kind of low-key moves on offense, but, if they got solid receivers, I mean, you're going to get a lot of Terry McLaurin. But who's going to be the running back? They just cut Adrian Peterson. Of course, we all know about Darius Geis. I don't know what's going to go on in Washington. I think I just said Houston, but I don't know. The Washington football team, they need more offensive weapons. If you put more offensive weapons around Dwayne Haskins, he could be a lot better. And then, you know what? Trubisky, he's at 32. There's really only room for an improvement unless you lose the starting job. So I think Trubisky could move up a little bit. But Garoppolo, he's just a game manager, and everybody's hurt on San Francisco. Ryan Fitzpatrick will probably play half the season, and then they'll give the ball at Tua. That would be my thoughts on that. And then a couple other guys to keep your eyes on in case they start. Jameis Winston, of course, on the New Orleans Saints. You got lots of weapons there, so you're going to look at, 3 to 4 touchdowns a game, a fumble or 2 possibly a game, and a couple interceptions. So he should get like 18 points a game if he plays on the Saints. Justin Herbert, I like Herbert. I think he's really good. I don't think Tyrod Taylor's very good. I haven't really seen enough of Tyrod Taylor. He was with the Browns at one point, and he started with, who else did he start? The Ravens? No, the Bills. I don't know. It's question mark city there. And then you've got Alex Smith, who's coming off a potential career-ending injury, that fractured fibula. Alex Smith, if Dwayne Haskins shits the bed, Alex Smith could possibly play this year and actually put up good numbers. I compare him a little bit to Jimmy Garoppolo with a stronger arm, but that would be somebody that possibly could do something. And then last but not least, a guy that a lot of you would be like, huh? Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. I do like what I see from Jordan Love. I see him as the quarterback of the future of the Packers, hence why he got drafted by them very early in the draft. They didn't draft a wide receiver. This might be Aaron Rodgers last year in Green Bay. They might trade him or release him. It remains to be seen, but I would stash Jordan Love on your taxi squad, and if you can keep him on the taxi squad, I know in one of my leagues we can keep people on the taxi squad until we activate them, and then we can keep them for a draft pick 2 spots up. So if taxi squad would be 17, then we'd keep them for 15, and the next year it would be a 13, 11, and then it's time maybe to keep a different position. But Jordan Love is somebody to keep your eye on, especially because I think the Packers are going to go crazy with offensive players next year in the draft. So that's my quarterback tiers again. I really like the tier 1 guys: Patrick Mahomes, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Lamar Jackson, and Cam Newton. I really like Cam Newton, and I think he's going to be where his ADP is. He's going to be way, 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 way better than that. So hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, and you're a big-time fantasy football fan, go ahead and smash that like button. If you think anybody else that you know would enjoy watching or listening to this, go ahead and share the video with them. If you have anything you'd like to say or any rankings that you think are absolutely ridiculous, hence my Drew Lock and Joe Burrow in the top 10, go ahead and leave me a comment. Give me suggestions on other fantasy football videos that I could do, which I said running backs and wide receivers are coming, probably tight ends too, maybe top rookies that are top offensive rookies for the 2020 season. I could do that. And then, of course, last but certainly not least, go ahead and hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.